He's also in the World Wrestling Hall of Fame, and he's not really down with Rose trying to fight the crowd on his dime.
Absolutely not. Orlando just waiting for Rose to stop jaw-jacking, as I'm sure he'd put it, but getting to the ring. And there you see the War Faithful here very clearly behind Orlando Cristopher as the lockup begins.
It's kind of the age-old version of the Cleveland-Detroit rivalry. Orlando Cristopher spent a lot of his time, even though being kind of more from Hazel Park of a Detroit base, and it doesn't seem to take too well to Rose. And Rose, I think that's the most aggression we've seen from him for a while. You remember, for a long time, was kind of a happy-go-lucky guy, but something changed. And then, of course, the fallout with everything that happened to him.
He stuck around Humbleville too long is what happened.
I think it made him humble. That was a couple of months ago. It was kind of an odd ending, but Orlando Cristopher now says, "Excuse me, Mr. Referee, you're in my way. I'm trying to go to work."
Lockup once again. Jacob Rose again outpowering Orlando Cristopher, getting him into the corner. Tries to go for a cheap shot, but flinches when Orlando returns one of his own.
Oh, he messed up his hair.
Now that's an egregious sin.
Rose is not going to take that well. That's what's so great about Orlando Cristopher. We've seen him, he can put on those technical matches. We've seen that. He can be a tag team guy. We saw a couple of years ago here, the anniversary show in this building, almost where we're sitting at. He jumped off the balcony and onto another human being. He can do a little bit of everything, and he does everything well.
That he does, but Jacob Rose right now wisely holding onto the rope, and even still Orlando found a way to bring Rose down to force.
And for the cradle, for the pin, 1 and 2.
Only a 2 count there. Oh, quickly followed up upon.
How much do you think that the rage, that Rose goes with it, roll through his Cristopher, and again, creative ways to get to the pin, but Rose right now just sort of running on anger, and he paid for it. Up and under and into the front row.
Jacob Rose thrown onto the outside.
OC thinking about catching a flight.
This is at this moment right now is Orlando's to miss. But miss he didn't if you don't take the shot.
You don't even get the ball. Rose applauding himself.
Despite Jacob Rose's arrogance, we do also have to recognize that Jacob Rose, like I mentioned earlier, former World Tag Champion. He's won singles championships all over the shop, all across the Midwest by this point. So he is a seasoned competitor in himself. He might not have as many years in the professional wrestling business as Orlando Cristopher, but he's still at least been doing this for 7+ years now.
He's great. Just ask him. Hell, halftime, you don't even have to ask him.
He'll just tell you.
But he's trying to get a win today, not only to get to 4-0 in the calendar year in 2025, but to prove that everything you were saying, all the superlatives of a guy like Orlando Cristopher, that he's on that level. Oh, straight rights, though. Orlando said, take that for your level. A bailout, a thumb right to the eye.
Knock that eye too far back into the socket. You're going to have a big, really big problem on your hands.
I always say I hope there's a good doctor nearby. Hospital's just a couple of blocks down the street. Or at least a good optometrist. It's Rose. Again, going back to a couple of guys we talked about, the way that they get things done. They get things done, but their methods sometimes are a little bit different to get there. And Rose just trying to kind of flip the switch. He tried the technical. He tried to outsmart Orlando Cristopher. Now he's just going to go to brutalize him.
Taking that arm of Orlando Cristopher, yanking it back, but you see also applying the pressure down onto the shoulder as if he's trying to separate the cuffs in there, attaching the shoulder to the rest of the arm.
Maybe he's got a friend who's a doctor and he's trying to get him some business. Beautiful suplex. Is that enough for the cover? Not even close. It's Orlando just trying to figure out where he's at.
And those strikes to the back of the head are not helping whatsoever. Jacob Rose just taunting Cristopher at this point.
He's screaming in his face. He's not going to learn.
That is the one person you cannot get away with doing that to. It'll only make Orlando more powerful.
Orlando powerfully sent on his back. 1 and 2. Hit him with a pretty good high knee.
Cristopher now clutching the sides of his head. You have to imagine his brain must be throbbing at the moment.
At least jiggled around inside the skull there, but I'm trying to choke him out a little bit.
Take advantage of the fact that Cristopher is a little loopy at the moment. Try and see if you can make that brain shake, rattle, and roll enough that you're just out for the count.
Yeah, there's not many times a guy can just straight punch you in the face that is good for you, I would imagine. Orlando trying to fight his way back up. That'll be helpful. Also, the problem is you use the top of your own head.
That's what I was just about to get at you. Oh, beautiful German suplex there.
OC throws punches. I would say you pick the locker room, and maybe outside of Beastman, is the last guy I want to take a punch to the face from. It's because Beastman's hands are like Buicks.
Yeah, that's more like getting hit with a Warhammer.
Oh. No, I think that was a different guy that used to work here. He tried that. Rose now taking a chance.
Cristopher able to get back up.
What's the great equalizer? Straight right hands.
Hey, it's a classic for a reason.
Rose is somewhere down near the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland in his head right now.
Oh, Rose, looks like he's about to get sent for a ride. Both men for the top.
Long way down.
Gigantic superplex there. I just saw the whole entire ring jump up.
That is bad news, but both guys not just trying to get back up, trying to figure out where they are.
You see Orlando having to wiggle his hand, mess around with his fingers just to make sure he can feel everything still.
Both guys trying to punch their way back up to their feet. And I talked about it, how this is a big thing for Rose to try to prove himself that he's on the level of this type of talent that we have in world wrestling, but it's such a bigger thing of kind of trying to prove that he can be that tough guy. Guys think maybe, he's not about that life. So Cristopher made a mistake.
Now low bridge there.
And then Rose made one.
Once again, onto the outside. Is Cristopher actually going to go for the drop? No! Instead, going for a diving drop kick.
Orlando says, I've got one more. Rose has got to get back up. OC over the top and down.
Giant tope con hero. Jacob Rose and Orlando Cristopher are both just like splayed out like a pancake.
Didn't plant the rose, he planted the whole garden.
But Cristopher, the first one back up to his feet.
OC not going to let this one end in a count out. He knows that he's on the right track now. A long way out, though, is Rose. OC up in the top, elbow to the heart. If Jacob had one, he'd be done. Two.
Apparently not, because somehow, some way, Jacob Rose kicking out there at the last possible second.
Again, a big part of this is Rose trying to prove he's a tough guy, show what he can do, put himself, and you would imagine, in line for at least conversation for the respect title, which will be on the line in a Fool's Gold match later on. Rose up, and how about that?
Standing down too. Cristopher kicks out, but Rose right back on top.
Smart move on Rose's part. Back-to-back moves, and dropped him right on the back of his head again. 1-2, and Rose screaming out.
Is third time going to be the charm? Is he going to go for it again?
Someone told him he has to go to Pittsburgh, and he wasn't thrilled about it. All the way, though.
It's better in Cleveland.
Not in his opinion. It's being from Cleveland, he's probably not thrilled about it. Said he didn't even know what a terrible towel was. Didn't sound like a good thing. But he's taking a lot of time letting OC get back up.
This is, again, that arrogance, that sort of cockiness about Rose coming back to bite him. this is that time that you want to be staying on your opponent. You want to be continuing the assault, and now I think his anger's just getting the best of him. He knows he can't use that chair.
Especially because he's bragged and bragged and bragged about his 3-0 record.
And surely Jacob's not about to throw it all away for that.
Swing and a miss. He's not Jose Ramirez. That would have been 3 home runs, but
if there's someone who has no qualms about using a chair.
He thought about it. Rose into the corner, up on the turnbuckle, and he got the 3 count.
Referee didn't
Ladies
see
and
it.
gentlemen, the winner of this match.
By hook or by crook.
Rose.
It would appear the latter is true tonight.
Using that extra bit of leverage thanks to the physics of gravity, Jacob Rose extends his undisputed feat in 2025 at WAR to 4-0.